Okay. And checking out your music being the first time listener, I have
Cool.
one, two, three, four, five. Wait, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So listen to about 17 songs is
Oh, nice.
in rotation, and being a first time listener, there were 10 songs for being a first
Oh,
time
yeah.
listener. The end is near. Uh, she never came home that night.
Okay.
Uh, Hope. I really fuck with the second half
Oh, yeah.
of Hope. How to Say, emo version. Uh, Man I Trust, What You Need. What's wrong with your What's wrong with my nail polish?
Hmm.
Uh, Parasite,
Yeah.
Death of an Introvert, and Redo.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of deep cuts for sure. Uh, but yeah, I mean, and I would say all the songs that you've listed, like all of them, as far as like what you're talking about, like with exploring genres, like it, I think a lot of those definitely dive into certain things. Um, and that's, I think, just kind of like what I like to do is just kind of like, even if it's just like one song, it's like a one off, like doing like a different style of something. Uh, I'm never afraid to try it. And I think as far as like people who listen to us kind of expected at this point that we're always going to have like a little like weird song here and there that might not be exactly what we're used to doing. But yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna bring up the first song. Death is no, the end is near. Tell me
Mhm.
about this one. How that song came to be.
So that actually would be the first song I wrote as Gene Ross. Like I wrote it right as I disbanded the Royals, and I started like immediately working on that song. Um, and yeah, I just for that one, the process was kind of how I normally do stuff now, where it's just like I kind of just write everything all at once, and the lyrics came super easy to me for that one. It was just like that song took like little to no time at all to write for me, and
Mm,
it was definitely like a special song because it definitely was the start of like a new thing that I'm doing. And um, yeah, and it definitely for the longest time was like my standard of like how like of like quality of music that I want to write. And I've like since then like that standard's obviously like been raised like with other songs, but I always like have that one song that's like if it's not better or on par with that song, then it's not then it's just not good enough. So for the longest time, The End Is Near was that standard, and now
mm,
I think the standard's a lot higher, just because I've obviously like matured, and I think like what I write about is a lot more focused and um, just makes more sense as I've gotten more comfortable with it.
okay. And I'm curious. What was the deciding point to jump from a drummer to a singer?
Um, so I've kind of always liked singing. Just like on my own, like if I'm in like the shower, or if I'm in the car or something like that, I would like kind of just sing to myself. And as soon as our singer from my old band left, they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And I was just like, "I guess I'll do it." I never thought about it, but I mean, I'll do it, and just kind of practiced a lot at it, and just kept working really hard at it, and now I'm where I'm at now.
Okay. And you feel
Yeah.
like you made the right decision since then?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the most fun I've had as like a musician, as an artist. Because like I like playing guitar, I like playing like bass, drums, and all that. But I think I find the most fun in singing and writing, like lyrics. And so I think like where I'm at right now is like position wise, I think like I'm exactly where I want to be.
Okay. Okay. And what was the most challenging song out of your catalog?
Most challenging? Uh, I would say currently it is Parasite. It is a little at the time of like recording and writing it, it was a little bit out of my range, so I kind of had to work into that song, which is also kind of why it took so long to release because I wanted to be able to perform it live. So I just took that time to like just kind of expand my range and just kind of relearn how to sing altogether because I was very new at the time and developing some bad habits. So I kind of just needed to go back to the basics and really figure out like what's going on in this area and how does it work and how can I sing higher. And so that song definitely was the most challenging. Definitely a lot easier now. But yeah, that definitely was like my like working up to song.
Okay. And from your perspective, what makes your band stand out?
Uh, I would say definitely our attention to not just the music, but everything else. Because like oftentimes what I notice like in like other bands or other people I've worked with, they're kind of just like they just want to be there and play music and that's it. And at the end of the day, especially this day and age when like streaming is so competitive, you have TikTok, like all these like social media like outlets, like it's a very saturated and very competitive market. And I think what sets us apart is how like business focused we've been able to make it. Um, Especially we just like got a manager recently and that's helped us even more like keep on track with like the business aspect because there's a lot more to uh being in a band than just like getting on stage and writing music. Like there's so much more. And I think why a lot of bands don't get far is because they don't want to take care of that stuff
Okay.
at the beginning. And so they're either caught with like bad deals from like record labels or they're just caught kind of being unprofessional and then people just don't want to work with them because of that. And I think like that is my biggest thing is I want to be as presentable, as marketable, as palatable for people when we present ourselves. So like when we go to shows, we always try to come in at the exact same time. We have like our whole like we just move as one unit, play as one unit, um, and let that reflect on us. And then everything else with how organized we are and the logistics of like all the back of house stuff like that just only makes us even more ahead. So yeah, I would say
Okay.
like definitely like that behind the scenes stuff is what sets us apart for sure.
Okay. Shout out to that. Shout out. And let me see. Next song I'm gonna bring up. Sad. Tell me
Mhm.
about it. Sad.
So sad. So I wrote that actually that was probably one of the quickest songs I've written because I I think I wrote it in like maybe 2 hours or so because I was like in my room writing it, recording it, and then I get a call from my friend and she's like, "Hey, you want to go to the movies?" And I was like, yeah, what time?" And she was like, "In an hour." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Uh, cool. Let me just finish this real quick." And so I just like performed it, recorded it as fast as I could, and pretty much everything that is in that song is like recorded in that like hour to like 2 hour window. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and that definitely uh, that definitely is like a very special song to me. I think it like when I wrote it at the time, it meant a lot to me, and like to see like people react really well to it, and it's also my mom's like favorite song of mine. So I try to keep it in the set list just for her.
Mm,
um, yeah, so it definitely holds a special place in my heart, and um, it's just a great song, and I think that was one of the first songs I wrote that I like genuinely enjoyed like just listening to as a like music consumer because I feel like a lot of artists can get so caught up in like being perfect with everything that by the time like their music releases, they probably just don't even like it. Because I used to be like that, and like by the time things released, I just kind of didn't care about the music. I was just like I was just ready to be over with it, and but that song was like definitely one of the first ones where I was like I liked writing it and I love listening to it.
And you brought up a very interesting point. So, when you was talking about, trying to be a perfectionist to the
Mhm.
point that, could calibrate that song anymore. So what changed? How you go by it now?
Um, it's definitely just kind of getting yourself out of your head, and I definitely let these songs sit a lot longer before I get back into them. So sometimes I'll write something and I'll come back to it like a month later, or even like when I'm getting mixes back from producers, when I'm done giving my input and we're finalized on the song, I just don't listen to it until it releases because I know if I keep listening to it, I'm probably gonna try to find something wrong with it. And at the end of the day, it's like it's fine. You kind of just have to realize that probably what you're so stuck in your head about really ultimately doesn't matter. And it definitely helps having other people in the band with that because they can be like, "Oh, nothing's wrong with this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." Or I'll send it to like friends and be like, "Hey, what do you think?" And they'll tell me, like, "Yeah, this is good. Like, this is cool. This is fine." I'm like, "Awesome, cool." So yeah, like, and definitely just kind of putting your head space as like a consumer, instead of as an artist, because obviously as an artist, I think you can be really critical of yourself, but as a consumer, I think you can just sit back and enjoy it. And that's like kind of what I've had to do to not be so, um, aiming for perfection on these songs. Obviously, like I want them to be really good, but I don't want to slave away at these songs like for too long because then I just don't like them. Like
Mm-hmm.
there comes a point where you kind of just have to turn your brain off and be like, okay, like the song is good. Like just stop doing what you're doing. You know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's understandable. And what's a fun fact about you that we don't know about?
Uh, fun fact. Oh man. Um, damn. I don't know any fun facts about myself. I feel like it's really bad. Um, let's see. I'm left-handed. I know that's kind of not that common of a thing, but I don't know if that's really a fun fact. But yeah, I don't know. That question, even like in like high school, like the first day of school, when you tell like fun fact, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know anything fun. That's always the hardest question, and I was like, I hate the first day of school because of that.
Mm-hmm. No, I can understand that. Okay. Uh, so you're left-handed.
Yes.
Um, okay, okay. And here's a fun question.
Hmm?
If your band were to be described as a color, what color would represent your band?
Ooh, I will definitely say blue, and it's not even like remotely my favorite color either. But it just seems to be a very consistent color that either gets used in artwork or when we're getting pictures at shows, that usually the color that gets like stuck on the most. Um, Also, like blue is kind of like correlated with like sad and like emotion, and I think a lot of our music is like I guess sad in a lot of in a way, but also just like emotional, and that's where like the emo part of the music comes from. So I think blue is a very accurate color, I think, to bunch us all together.
Okay. And uh, in your opinion,
Hmm?
uh, from your perspective, what do you think that your band need to work on?
Um, the thing that we need to work on, I think, definitely just spending time with each other outside of just a band like setting because I mean, we've been really busy over the summer, and even like now, like we're just like getting stuff released, getting merch out, like all these shows, and like it's been a very busy time. But sometimes you can forget what it's like to just hang out with your bandmates. And I think that is just as important as like practicing together because all that chemistry comes from getting to know each other and getting to be really close with each other. And I think like that's definitely something that we all have to work on. Just kind of be like, hey, let's hang out sometime. Like we don't have to do a practice this week. We can just like go out to eat or something or watch a movie or whatnot. But yeah, but I
Mm,
think that's definitely like a fundamental for really any band. If like people want it to last long and go the distance, like just developing those relationships with your bandmates. So that way it just doesn't feel like I'm just clocking in for work and like going through the motions and whatnot.
that's understandable. So you feel like there need to be a balance.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a balance of like we got to be business focused, we got to be really like locked in on things. But then there's also that time where it's like no, like we can take a step back real quick. We can just hang out, think
We
about
can reward stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like rewarding ourselves. That's all. That's the biggest thing. Like you work so hard, and sometimes you forget that you can kind of take a step back and yeah, like reward yourself.
Okay. And I'm curious when it
Mhm.
comes to collect. From your perspective, have y'all collaborated or have y'all been thinking about collaborating with other artists, other bandmates?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with like people in the local scene. There's like a lot of really cool people that I wanted to work with. So like I will say like Parasite will probably be the first like I guess semi-collaborative effort. So my friend Luke, he's in a band called Life After Youth. He helped write the lyrics with me on that song because there was a point in
Mm.
time where he heard the song and he was like, "I really want this song." So, and I was like, "You can't. This is mine." But he like helped write it, and it was definitely like just an interesting experience because that was the first time I've ever like sat down and wrote lyrics with somebody, and it
Mm.
was just interesting to see like what came out of like it just came out of his mind and like versus what came out of my mind and it was a really fun experience plus he's like one of my like longest like known friends and it was just cool to work with him and uh I definitely would like to do like actual like full on collaborations with him um, in his band um hopefully that will be in the future because I know they're really busy too so whenever our
Mm.
schedules line up hopefully fingers crossed.
Okay, okay. And next song, this is probably gonna be my last one that I'm gonna bring up.
Okay.
No Haley Williams. It ain't
Okay.
fun. Tell me about it. How that song?
So the name for that one came from like a tweet I saw like years ago, and it literally like is just the name like no Haley Williams. It ain't fun because you know how they have oh,
Mm.
and the song itself is kind of just about like growing up and things aren't like what you were told they were going to be, especially like in your 20s. I think like a lot of people see like how fun it can be, but obviously like around the time I hit my 20s, COVID hit, and a lot of
Mm.
like just life changing situations happen like all in like a short period of time. So that song was kind of just a reaction to that and like a letting out my frustration about growing up in such a interesting time.
Okay, okay. Shout out to that. I was gonna try to have a question to go out with a bang. Uh, I have a question to go out with a bang. It was definitely it was definitely great to have
Yeah,
you on
no, I
here.
appreciate this.
Great to have you as a special guest. Like I said, this one would be a free trial. But we like to come with it would be a
Okay.
small fee. But we would do a ranking your catalog. So we encourage y'all to keep making music, and we would give you a place to promote and connect with talent.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I appreciate you
Um,
reaching out to us as well. Um, this is definitely a definitely has been a fun experience, and like just getting to talk more about the music and just like all the other
yeah,
side stuff. It's been fun. It's awesome.
yeah, I'm glad that we was able to give you that space to feel
Yeah.
comfortable promote that, and giving us the chance to. I know it's camera going crazy. Uh, so we appreciate you for giving us a chance, and we're definitely great to have you on here. But
Mhm.
before you go, uh, shout out your platform, shout out anybody that you want to put on, and then drop a song on your catalog
Yeah.
you want the audience
So
to
if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, follow us Instagram, TikTok at Gene Ross is a band. We have a couple shows coming up. We actually have a show like this upcoming Sunday in the Dallas area. Um, we're from North Texas for anyone who doesn't know that. So we play predominantly over there. We're trying to branch out. Just be patient with us.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got some shows coming out. Like I said, new music coming out very, very soon. Super excited for that. And check out well, I guess by the time this comes out, check out Say You're Sorry because that will be the brand, like the most recent song. So super excited for that one to come out. And I'm sure everyone will really like it. Fingers crossed.
All right, shout out to you. And my last question, would you like this to be a video or audio exclusive?
I have no preference honestly, so it can be either or.
Okay. All right, bet. The YouTube will be out within a month. Your Spotify might be a bit
Okay.
longer, with the rotation. Uh, Outside of that, we'll be looking forward to your success and keep rocking. I think you definitely got some good music. I mean, shit, I got 10 songs
That's
that I
awesome.
fuck with. I was at 17 songs. Um, I think I definitely got something to keep, promoting your work. Uh, even showing like what it is to, what it takes to be
Yeah.
a band. So I'm not sure y'all do any behind the scenes, but just talking to you, you seem pretty interesting. So I can only imagine the chemistry for all y'all. It'd probably be interesting to see that, especially you can use it as a
Yeah, no,
merchandise,
for sure.
uh, monetizing that. Um, but like I said, y'all own to something and keep rocking,
Yeah,
keep doing
thanks, man.
your
I
thing.
really appreciate that.
No problem. Looking forward to your success.
Yeah, thanks, man. And like I said, hopefully we'll be back soon. I'll bring some of the other guys on as well, so you can hear people other than just me.
I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Like I said, we definitely gonna give y'all space to keep
yeah,
promoting y'all work. So if y'all would like to use this in a way to like to announce y'all work, latest song that's coming out, or even want to test out your music on a platform, we welcome
awesome. Yeah, no, like we would definitely take you up on that offer for sure.
it. Okay, but all right, I keep you updated when this about
Awesome.
to come out.
Sounds good. Yeah,
Have
you
a
as well, man.
blessed one.